Beauty is about youth. My mother-in-law's words crackled through my phone as I stood in my Seoul hotel room, still jet-lagged from the 14-hour flight. Ashley will be taking over as CEO effective immediately. The board has already approved it. I gripped my phone tighter, looking out at the glittering Korean cityscape, the same cityscape I'd flown halfway across the world to secure our company's biggest beauty manufacturing deal. Patricia, what are you talking about? Oh, don't act surprised, Victoria, she replied, her voice dripping with fake sympathy. The beauty industry is changing. We need young blood, fresh perspectives. Ashley understands today's market better. Ashley, my 26-year-old sister-in-law who joined the company 6 months ago as a social media manager. The same Ashley who had never worked a day in her life before that, who spent more time posting selfies and studying market trends. I built this company from nothing, I said, keeping my voice steady despite the rage building inside me. I transformed it from a small local cosmetics store into a national brand. And you're giving it to Ashley. The board agrees with me, Patricia continued, clearly relishing every word. Your husband Michael signed off on it too. Face it, Victoria, at 42, you're past your prime. This isn't personal, it's business. But it was personal. It had always been personal with Patricia. From the moment I married Michael 12 years ago, she'd seen me as an outsider, someone who didn't belong in their elite social circle. Never mind that I built Pure Glow Cosmetics into a $100 million company. To her, I'd always be the middle-class girl who dared to marry above her station. I understand, I replied calmly, my mind already racing ahead. Congratulations to Ashley. I assume you'll want me to brief her on the Korean manufacturing deal. Patricia's smugness faltered slightly at my composed response. Yes. Well, that would be appropriate. Though perhaps we should let Ashley handle it her way. Of course, I said. I'll send over the contracts when they're finalized. Good night, Patricia. I ended the call and sat down heavily on my hotel bed, letting out a long breath. They thought they blindsided me, that they finally pushed me out of my own company. What they didn't know was that I had been preparing for something like this for months. The signs had been there, the whispered conversations that stopped when I entered the room, the sudden interest in company ownership structures, Ashley's constant questions about our suppliers and manufacturing processes. I wasn't naive. I had seen the writing on the wall. That's why I had flown to Seoul personally instead of sending our procurement team. That's why I had spent the last 6 months quietly securing exclusive contracts with our key suppliers. And that's why tomorrow's meeting with Korea's largest beauty manufacturer wasn't just about a manufacturing deal. My phone buzzed. A text from Michael. Mom told you about Ashley? It's for the best. Vic, you've been working too hard anyway. Time to step back and relax. I didn't bother responding. My husband had always been his mother's puppet, too weak to stand up to her. He had probably convinced himself he was doing me a favor, freeing me from the burden of running a company. Another buzz, Ashley this time. OMG, sis, can't wait to revolutionize Pure Glow. Thinking about a total rebrand. Young, fresh, vibrant. Going to kill it on TikTok. I smiled despite myself. Poor Ashley. She had no idea what she was getting into, no idea about FDA regulations, supply chain complexities, or the razor-thin margins in manufacturing. No clue about the 3 years of negotiations it had taken to get this Korean deal on the table. I walked to the window, looking out at the Seoul skyline again. In 12 hours, I would be meeting with Mr. Kim of K-Beauty Labs, signing a deal that would change everything. Patricia and Ashley thought they were taking my company. They were about to learn a very expensive lesson about the difference between ownership and control. My phone buzzed one more time, an email from Mr. Kim confirming our breakfast meeting. I replied quickly, then opened my laptop to review the contracts one last time. The exclusive manufacturing rights, the non-compete clauses, the proprietary formulation agreements, all ironclad, all under my personal company, not Pure Glow's. Patricia was right about one thing. This was business. And I was about to show them exactly how business is done. I spent the rest of the evening preparing for tomorrow's meeting, my mind clear and focused despite the jet lag. Years of building Pure Glow had taught me that timing was everything. You had to know when to strike, when to hold back, and most importantly, when to let your opponents think they'd won. Tomorrow would change everything, but for now, I let them celebrate their victory, Let them think they finally pushed me out of the way. After all, revenge, like the perfect beauty formula, was all about patience. The next morning, I met Mr. Kim in a private dining room at the hotel's rooftop restaurant. The Seoul skyline provided a stunning backdrop as we finalized the details of our agreement over a traditional Korean breakfast. "So, Ms. Victoria," Mr. Kim said, his English precise and measured, "you understand what this exclusive agreement means. Once signed, K Beauty Labs cannot manufacture for Pure Glow or any of its subsidiaries without your personal approval." I nodded, stirring my tea. "I understand perfectly, Mr. Kim, and the proprietary formulations we developed together. All registered under Victoria Kim Enterprises as requested. Pure Glow will have no legal claim to them." He paused, studying me carefully. "May I speak frankly?" "Please do." "I've heard rumors about changes in Pure Glow's leadership. Your mother-in-law has been making inquiries with other manufacturers." I couldn't help but smile. Of course Patricia had been shopping around. She probably thought she was being clever, laying the groundwork for Ashley's takeover. "And what did you tell her?" "That K-Beauty Lab's schedule is fully committed." He returned my smile. "We value loyalty, Ms. Victoria. You built this relationship. We work with you." 2 hours later, I walked out of the meeting with signed contracts and a clear path forward. My phone had 17 missed calls. 3 from Michael, 10 from Patricia, 4 from Ashley. I ignored them all and called my lawyer instead. "Everything's signed," I told her. "Time for phase 2. Back in my hotel room, I finally checked my messages. The family group chat was buzzing with panic. "Ashley, OMG, why isn't K-Beauty responding to my emails? We need to confirm the manufacturing schedule for the new line." Patricia, "Victoria, call me immediately. This is serious." Michael, "Honey, Mom's really upset." "What did you do?" I was composing a carefully worded response when my phone rang. Patricia again. This time I answered. "What have you done?" she demanded, her voice shrill. "K-Beauty won't return our calls. The other Korean manufacturers all say they're booked solid. The product launch is in 8 weeks. How unfortunate," I replied calmly. "Sounds like Ashley has quite a challenge ahead of her. But I'm sure with her fresh perspective and young energy, she'll figure something out." "This isn't a game, Victoria. Pure Glow has obligations to retailers, contracts to fulfill. You can't just—" "I haven't done anything, Patricia. I'm just stepping back, like you wanted, letting the next generation take over. Isn't that what you said was best for the company?" There was a long pause. When Patricia spoke again, her voice was different, calculating. "What do you want?" "Want? Nothing. I'm too old for the beauty industry, remember? Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a flight to catch." I hung up, forwarded the signed contracts to my lawyer, then ordered room service. The real show was about to begin. Over the next week, Pure Glow descended into chaos. Without access to our manufacturing partners or proprietary formulations, they couldn't move forward with the planned product launch. Ashley's fresh perspective consisted mainly of posting panicked TikToks about supply chain disruptions. Patricia tried everything: threats, pleading, even attempting to go around me directly to Mr. Kim. But K-Beauty Labs stood firm. Our relationship was exclusive. 10 days after the Seoul meeting, I sat in my home office reviewing the damage. Pure Glow's stock had dropped 30% on news of manufacturing delays. Major retailers were threatening to cancel orders. Beauty influencers were speculating about company instability. Michael finally came to see me, looking tired and defeated. "Vic, we need to talk." I looked up from my laptop. "About?" "Mom made a mistake, okay? She admits it. Ashley's in way over her head. The company's falling apart." He ran a hand through his hair. "Can't we fix this?" "We? There is no we, Michael. You signed off on removing me as CEO, remember? Said it was for the best." I know. I was wrong. But this is our family's legacy." "No," I cut him off. "Pure Glow is my legacy. I built it while you played golf with your mother's country club friends. I worked 80-hour weeks while Ashley was posting selfies from Bali. I earned every bit of success that company has seen." "What do you want?" he asked, echoing his mother's words from a week ago. I turned my laptop around, showing him the contract I'd been reviewing. "Full control. Patricia and Ashley stepped down from the board. You sign over your shares to me." No interference, no family drama. Mom will never agree to that. Then I'll launch my new line with K Beauty Labs next month. Pure Glow can try competing with us using whatever manufacturer they can find, if they can find one. Michael stared at me for a long moment. When did you become so ruthless? I thought about Patricia's snide comments over the years, the constant undermining, the final betrayal of giving my company to Ashley. I learned from the best. The final showdown happened at Pure Glow's headquarters 3 days later. Patricia had called an emergency board meeting, presumably to try and salvage what was left of her power play. I arrived early, dressed in my sharpest suit, armed with contracts and confidence. The boardroom fell silent as I walked in. Ashley sat in my old seat, looking small and scared, her usual social media bravado nowhere to be seen. Patricia stood at the head of the table, her perfect makeup unable to hide the stress of the past 2 weeks. "Victoria," she said stiffly, "we've prepared a reasonable offer to resolve this situation." I took a seat, smoothing my skirt. "I'm listening." "You'll be reinstated as co-CEO alongside Ashley. Equal power sharing. The board has already approved it." She slid a document across the table. "We can put this unfortunate misunderstanding behind us." I didn't even glance at the papers. "No. Don't be difficult," Patricia snapped, her composed facade cracking. "This is more than fair. Ashley brings youth, vitality, social media expertise." "Ashley brings nothing," I interrupted, my voice cold. "She doesn't know our suppliers, our manufacturing processes, or our retail partnerships. She doesn't understand FDA compliance or international trade regulations. She can't even pronounce the active ingredients in our products." Ashley flinched. Patricia's face reddened. "How dare you?" "No," I cut her off again. "How dare you? How dare you try to steal my company, my life's work, and hand it to someone who thinks 1 million TikTok followers qualifies her to run a multinational corporation?" I pulled out my folder and placed 3 documents on the table. Option 1. You both resign from the board, transfer all shares to me, and walk away. Option 2. I launch my new brand next month with K Beauty Labs' full backing, using our most popular formulations, which I own. Option 3. I sue for breach of fiduciary duty, fraud, and corporate espionage. My lawyer has an interesting paper trail showing how you two accessed confidential company information. The boardroom erupted. Board members whispered among themselves. Ashley started crying. Patricia looked like she'd been slapped. "You wouldn't dare," she hissed. "We're family." I laughed. "Family? Family doesn't steal from each other. Family doesn't conspire, scheme, and backstab. You never saw me as family, Patricia. I was just the ambitious nobody who married your son and built the company you always wanted to control." Michael, who had been silent until now, stood up. "It's over, Mom. Sign the papers." Patricia whirled on him. "You can't be serious. She's destroying everything way." "Everything she built," he corrected. "Vic's right. This company exists because of her. Not you, not Ashley, not me. We need to let go." 3 hours later, I walked out of Pure Glow's headquarters as sole CEO and majority shareholder. Patricia and Ashley had signed everything, their dreams of a corporate takeover crushed under the weight of reality and legal consequences. 6 months later, Pure Glow launched its most successful product line ever. The Korean manufacturing deal proved revolutionary, and our new formulations received rave reviews. Ashley went back to being a full-time influencer, occasionally posting sponsored content for our competitors. Patricia retreated to her country club, telling anyone who would listen that she'd stepped back from business to focus on family. Michael and I separated amicably. He finally admitted that he'd spent our entire marriage trying to please his mother at my expense. Sometimes, love isn't enough to overcome years of toxic family dynamics. Late one evening, as I sat in my office reviewing quarterly reports, I received an unexpected email from Patricia. "Victoria, I underestimated you. I thought youth and social media presence were the future of beauty. I was wrong. The company thrives under your leadership, proving that true success comes from experience, vision, and determination, not age. I'm sorry." "Patricia." I stared at the screen for a long moment before hitting delete. Her apology meant nothing now. I learned that success wasn't about age, family connections, or social media followers. It was about dedication, strategy, and the courage to stand your ground. The Seoul skyline glittered outside my window. Yes, I'd kept the Korean office, reminding me of that pivotal night when they thought they defeated me. I smiled, remembering Patricia's words. Beauty is about youth. She was wrong. Beauty, like success, is about power, and I'd proven I had both.